So guys, the crypto markets are trading sideways right now. We did see a little bit of a correction based off of the price action we were seeing yesterday. Right now, it's all based off of the key news events that have been happening around the labor market, guys. We have been seeing a correction today, but a lot of people are still anticipating deviations for Bitcoin based off of exactly the price action, how people are anticipating more of a monthly low, and also exactly what has been anticipated moving into September. Rate cuts are anticipated, but a lot of people are anticipating that it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, which could anticipate more deviations. So I don't want you guys falling for this huge trap. A lot of people are allocating to the markets. While altcoins are going to be seeing potentially a little bit of a pump, we more than likely are going to be seeing a correction moving into the end of September, moving into October. And on this channel, that is what we do. So if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content, guys. I keep you updated on the day-to-day events, price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, key news events, and everything you need to be aware of. At the beginning of the week, I've already said it multiple times. I let you know about the key news events that were going to be happening, that was going to be having an effect on the market. We saw volatility run up and down, testing that 113,000 region for Bitcoin, and right now we're still sitting at around 110,000. Yesterday we're sitting at around 108, and everything's just deviating, kind of trading sideways right now, which is why everyone is expecting more deviation. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into the charts, the perspective, the news events, and what you need to be aware of if you're invested in altcoins in the crypto markets in general. So guys, like how I said, for the 24-hour period, the markets are seeing a little bit of a correction. Bitcoin hit around 108,000 literally yesterday, and now we're sitting at around 110,000 closing out the week. Ethereum is sitting at around 4,300. Still expecting more deviations pretty much after putting in that new all-time high, but right now we're pretty much just ranging. Altcoins are following the price action around Ethereum. On the 24-hour, seeing a little bit of a correction, but still trading sideways due to exactly the news events that have been happening around the labor market. On top of that, exactly, anticipation around specific sectors in the labor market and what to expect moving into the next few months, especially with rate cuts that are going to be happening. Right now, there's a lot of different perspectives around deviations, exactly the monthly close, and how a lot of people are expecting that we're still going to be seeing more deviations for Bitcoin. Dr. Profit has been preaching this, guys, saying how a lot of people are getting euphoric off of the small pump that we're seeing right now, which is why I'm making this video talking about a bull trap, a crypto market trap for a lot of investors. But I think it's just because a lot of people are down in the dumps, like what Dr. Profit's talking about. And as a result, when you see a little bit of green, you feel euphoric. You start preaching towards the, perception that altcoins isn't just going to start. But right now is a massive dip for altcoins and ETH. And, people like Crypto Mission now are just preaching that right now is the point to take advantage of this time to start dollar cost averaging into specific assets that you believe in. Benjamin Cohen has been talking about how the rotation back to Bitcoin is going to start, and it's pretty much taking place right now. He's anticipating Bitcoin dominance running back quite significantly. And honestly, guys, on the weekly time frame, we can see that Bitcoin dominance actually is starting to run back. So this is starting to align with a few different perspectives that Benjamin Cohen has been talking about. Now, he does say that it doesn't mean that alt and ETH pairs can be going up while Bitcoin dominance goes down. There's a lot of different perspectives around this, which is why people get confused. But overall, rotation into Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin dominance is more than likely going to be rallying up, which is why the markets are just trading sideways right now. But if we jump back into the price action, guys, we retested that 113,000 region for Bitcoin. Today, we actually hit that region, and then we fell right back down, which is what is aligning with a lot of our perspectives around crypto traders, analysts, and investors in the market that are day trading right now. This is really correlating to the fact that Bitcoin more than likely is going to be seeing more deviations just based off of the monthly time frame and what is anticipated. Ethereum as well, guys, currently putting in new lows based off of exactly reaching that new all-time high that we saw. Right now it's just deviating, sitting at around 4,300. Of course, everyone is still feeling bullish because we're sitting above 4,000 for Ethereum. But honestly, if we start to see Bitcoin dominance rally super hard, we could be seeing a squeeze for Ethereum and altcoins in general. That's why right now, guys, with the total 3E chart, we can see that altcoins are just trading sideways on the weekly time frame, waiting to see exactly if they're going to start returning a lot of the gains that they have been making, or if they're pretty much going to start to rally back up. But right now, with Bitcoin dominance starting to shoot up, it's really pointing to the fact where liquidity is shifting right now and how everyone is reallocating towards Bitcoin and pretty much hedging their bets. Now, we have been keeping up with the news events, guys, that have been happening on a week-to-week basis, because one week it's about inflation data, the next week it's about the labor market, and whenever we can have the correlation between both of these specific things, we can understand exactly what's going to be anticipated with Fed cuts, volatility in the market, multiple different things. And we pretty much closed out the week with the August jobs report. Right now, the labor market is not looking too strong. While we are seeing a little bit of a pump in the market right now, the labor markets are not looking too good. You can pretty much just see about exactly how the U.S. economy is pretty much performing, and then exactly the specific jobs in place, part-time jobs, lost jobs, and multiple other different things that are going into play. The only thing you need to be aware of, guys, around the labor market data that has been coming out is the fact that it is looking quite weak, and anticipating rate cuts moving into the middle of September, a lot of people are expecting that it's not going to be having a huge effect, and as a result, it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, seeing a little bit of a pump and then massive deviations. Now, people like Killer XBT have been talking about exactly how he honestly was long in the market, but now he's talking about specific zones that Bitcoin needs to hold, or it's going to look super, super bad and dumps are going to be taking place. One thing that he talked about today, he says right now there's about an 85% to 87%, 85 to 87% chance the Fed will cut rates in September. And he gives two perceptions that are more than likely going to be happening around this, and this kind of aligns with my perspective. He says, if the markets build bullish momentum into the event, which more than likely I see happening, likely a sell the news reaction, guys, where everyone's going to be buying, and then selling the news as soon as it happens. Or if the markets trend bearish into the event, potential reversal afterwards. Outcome is priced in for Bitcoin, whether we see the massive deviation and then the huge rebut. But he did say this about 5 hours ago, and then literally 3 hours ago, he said, I have a gut feeling the monthly low isn't in for Bitcoin, which has been aligning with our perspective that deviations are going to be happening. Dropped the video talking about it yesterday. Go check out the rest of the channel, guys. I'm not going to waste my breath anymore. But overall, I hope I'm wrong. Otherwise, it will be a bloodbath, says Killer XBT. LOL, who am I? And you can see that we have been seeing the deviation around Bitcoin currently. And this aligns with Dr. Profit's perspective on exactly that. He believes that more deviations are going to be happening. Yesterday, we talked about exactly the insiders that have been selling. These are massive investors, not retail investors, guys, which is really pointing to the fact where money is shifting and where volatility is shifting. He goes on to talk a little bit more about his stance. He says his bearish stance just became more aggressive. We talked about this yesterday as well. And he says that after hitting 90 to 95K, we can see a new all-time high. That's what he was previously thinking. But now he says this is now invalid. He considers lower as possible. So he thinks that we're going to be falling below 90K, which is crazy. And then he had a little bit of an update. He says, I understand the euphoria of bulls over a small pump, which is currently what's been taking place right now, guys. I talked about a little bit of a correction that took place in the markets, but it isn't that much. We still tested that 113,000 region and then deviated because it isn't looking too strong. He goes on to say, I understand the euphoria of bulls over a small pump. I would be happy to see if my bags see a very small relief after weeks of decline. My strategy remains the same, adding 10% of size daily if markets allow to visit back to the 8% range of short area. So he talks about reaching back all the way up to that 124,000 region, guys, and he honestly believes that more than likely, even if we hit that zone, it's going to be an area to start shorting the market. And it's pretty much based off of recent all-time highs that we saw previously in the month, and then on top of that, guys, last month, and then on top of that, also the price action that we currently have been seeing, and then talks about the labor market, inflation data, and all that other stuff. Having this correlation with multiple different perspectives allows you to understand what is going to be happening. And this is why I really believe what Dr. Profit is saying. I'm sure a massive deviation is going to be happening pretty much due to the weak price action that we have been seeing taking place. But overall, he is still shorting the market, and I think this is something that you should be keeping in your mind. Now, Crypto Mitch gives his perspective on the dip that is taking place. He says, don't be scared. Buy the dip on altcoins and ETH. The bear market hasn't started. It's just a dip before the next actual run starts. Utilize the dip, buy those altcoins, and enjoy the run. And this aligns with what Dr. Profit was saying, because he doesn't think that this is the end of the markets in general. He believes that a new all-time high is going to be coming into effect after the massive correction, because Bitcoin has been rallying too freaking hard. He even said it in a recent post, guys. He goes on to say, there's always a time to buy big, and there's always a time to take profits. After a 600% Bitcoin move, it's time to sell. And that is currently what is taking place. We see massive zones, guys, liquidations, correlations with how volatility takes place. And usually whenever we see assets run up super hard for a month or 2 months straight, we are going to be seeing a correction, and that is what's taking place right now. I'm not going to, make it longer than that. Just anticipate the volatility. Even if we run back up, even all the way to that 123,000 region, more than likely, we're going to be seeing a rejection. Now, overall, Benjamin Cohen has been talking about the rotation that is happening back to Bitcoin, which is why we're correlating the deviations with Ethereum and altcoins. He says the rotation back to Bitcoin should continue here through September and October. I know dominance still has not really moved much, but it should be back above 60% in the coming weeks. And honestly, guys, it has been moving. It has been showing strong price action, breaking that previous low, and right now it is on the move to that 60% region. I honestly am aligned with Benjamin Cohen's perspective and do believe that Bitcoin dominance is going to have one last run before seeing actually the dip and the liquidity move into Ethereum and altcoins. He goes on to talk about exactly how some people seem to think that alt and ETH pairs going up means Bitcoin dominance goes down. And that's just not the case. He says what he is suggesting is that alt and ETH pairs go up, but alt and Bitcoin pairs bleed. So Bitcoin dominance goes up while alt and ETH pairs go up. So alt and ETH pairs can go up, guys, but whenever you compare alts compared to Bitcoin, they are not going to be outperforming. And this is what he's trying to correlate. Yes, altcoins can still run up while we're seeing Bitcoin dominance run up, which is why some of y'all don't believe what I'm talking about with a huge reversal coming in and a bull trap happening. This is super, super important to understand, knowing that altcoins can still run up and see a little bit of price action while Bitcoin dominance is also carrying up that price action. This is super important. If you don't understand this perspective, go follow Benjamin Cohen and go hit up Grok so that you can get a little bit more insight on it. It is pretty straightforward, but overall, liquidity is moving into Bitcoin right now. Right now, also on top of that, we go on to talk about exactly the rotation that is taking place and how he believes Bitcoin dominance is going to be hitting the top. We have already discussed that, but this correlates to exactly what is happening into the markets right now. We have been seeing ranging taking place whenever we test specific zones, see a specific deviation, range, and then pump a little bit again. And this is why a lot of people believe that altcoin season is already going to be happening. They don't believe a deviation is going to be taking place, a massive deviation. And this is why a lot of big altcoin investors are going to be failing. Right now, my altcoin portfolio is pretty much trading sideways. Some assets are pumping, other assets not so much, and it's really due to the fact that altcoins are getting squeezed right now. But the best thing you can do is dollar cost average so that you can get a better entry point on the altcoins that you're currently investing in. But that is currently what is taking place, guys. Like how I said, key news events that happened this week around the labor market has been having an effect on volatility in the markets. On top of that, there is still expectations about more deviations around Bitcoin in terms of the monthly close. And then on top of that, exactly what's expected based off of well-traded investors and also, the price action around Bitcoin. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to be buying altcoins right now because honestly, guys, I'm expecting more deviations. I'm going to drop a whole video saying buy altcoins right now, and I'm going to drop a whole video explaining why you need to be buying altcoins. But right now in this video, I'm explaining why I believe this is going to be a big trap for a lot of investors. A lot of people are probably investing thinking that this is going to be the last stretch, and then they see a massive deviation, and what's going to happen? They're going to capitulate their bags. They're going to sell out on their positions, and then we're actually going to be seeing the huge rally up for altcoins, and they're going to miss out. And I don't want you being one of those people. So it's super important to keep up with the price action, the news events, and the sentiment around everything. And on this channel, that is what we do. So if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and everything you need to be aware of. Guys, expect massive volatility. Expect, pumps and dumps in the market. I'm expecting more deviations with Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, we're going to be seeing exactly how the weekly opens up next week and what everyone is expecting with the news events. I'm going to keep dropping day-to-day videos, so make sure you guys stay tuned. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, drop them down below. I'd love to hear everyone's perspective on what exactly is going to be happening. I even dropped a recent video talking about exactly how the market crash is more than likely going to be taking place very soon and right now, but that is one of my worst performing videos because people are euphoric right now. They don't care about people like me that are trying to give a real perspective. But I hope you care. I hope you understand that this is what actually moves the markets and what actually determines what's going to be happening. So share the channel with someone that actually wants to progress. Share the channel with someone that wants to learn more about crypto and understand what is moving everything. And then from there, just stay tuned. I'm going to keep dropping day-to-day content every day so you guys know exactly what is taking place. So make sure you guys do not miss out. Overall, though, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Do not sell out on your bags. Do not capitulate. Expect volatility. Peace.